Like many other Resident Evil fans, I have always been much more fond of the video game series than the film adaptation series. And one of my all-time favorite aspects of the video game series has always been the mutant creatures that have resulted from the Umbrella Corporation's viral experiments. And even though the zombies were pretty scary, these monsters have proven to be the true stuff of nightmares. So, in honor of this iconic horror survival franchise, let's take a look at my choices for the top 5 Resident Evil monsters. Let's start the countdown.
5.
The dog has always been considered man's best friend, but in some instances, they can be part of our worst nightmares. Such is the case with these creatures called the Cerberus. Named after the three-headed hound of Hades from Greek mythology, Cerberus are a group of bioorganic weapons, or BOW, created by the Umbrella Corporation. Originally, they were just ordinary Doberman, but after being exposed to the T-virus, it mutated them physically and caused them to become extremely aggressive and driven by the desire to kill. In the first Resident Evil game, they escape from their confinement in the mansion facility and proceed to hunt and kill anyone who wanders into the wooded area surrounding the mansion. These mutant Hellhounds are among the most recognizable and common of Resident Evil enemies, as they appear in many different games. And they are also known for a habit of breaking through windows when you least expect it. Taking down these canines can be simple individually, but when faced with a whole pack, it pays to save your shotgun shells. Oh, and if you're playing the Resident Evil remake, you might want to stay clear of that front doorway. Los Ganados, Spanish for the mob, and what better way to describe those hostile villagers in Resident Evil 4?
Freeze! I said freeze!
Even though these are the common enemy in the first third of the game, there is one type of Ganado that really stands out from the crowd. His name is Dr. Salvador. This Ganado wears a burlap potato sack as a mask over his head, and of course, wields his deadly chainsaw. This terrifying maniac displays a more psychotic nature compared to the other village Ganados, and that is saying a lot considering how crazy these Ganados have demonstrated themselves to be. Not surprisingly, this character was inspired by the legendary horror villain Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Using a pistol may be out of the question since he can absorb small arms fire, so grab that shotgun and don't let your guard down. It'll prove to be a fatal mistake.
3.
Just a few months after the mansion incident in the first Resident Evil game, the nearby town of Raccoon City is hit with a T-virus outbreak, leading to a nightmare full of zombies, Cerberus, as well as introducing several new threats. One of which involves a whole new race of mutant creatures, called the Liqueurs. Since their introduction in the second game of the franchise, Liqueurs have left an impression on Resident Evil fans. Despite being blind, having no skin, and an exposed brain, these quadrupedal mutants possess a powerful muscle structure which makes them strong and able to move quickly. Using their sense of sound to detect prey, they attack with long, razor-sharp claws, teeth, and have an elongated tongue, hence the name, strong enough to pierce through flesh and even decapitate its victims. Liqueurs are also known to be skilled ambush predators, as they use their claws to climb up walls and on ceilings, which makes them very effective at hunting prey as they can sneak up on you from above. And I gotta say, the depiction of the Liqueur in the first two movies was pretty decent, so I'll give the movie series that one.
Oh my god.
2.
The only thing worse than a mutagenic virus is when that virus has been evolved to change creatures on more grotesque proportions, as demonstrated by Dr. William Birkin. In Resident Evil 2, William Birkin was a leading virologist of the Umbrella Corporation. But when he created the G-Virus, a modified version of the T-Virus, he was unwilling to allow Umbrella to use it for experimentation after they refused to promote him.
No one will ever take you away from me.
This led to Umbrella sending in an armed task force to retrieve the G-Virus samples from him.
There he is.
So you finally come.
After being gunned down and left for dead by Umbrella's security service, a mortally wounded Birkin injects himself with the remaining G-Virus sample. While it did cause him to regenerate from his gunshot wounds, it also mutated him into a hulking monstrosity who takes vengeance upon the task force who shot him. During the game, the player will encounter him several times. After each encounter, he mutates further into a more grotesque and stronger form, up until the point where he doesn't even resemble the man that he used to be.
William, you're alive.
1.
One of the most intimidating of Resident Evil creatures are the Tyrants, a group of T-virus-based mutations that were bred as a race of superior beings.
The ultimate life form. Tyrant.
While there have been several different types of Tyrant throughout the series, there is one who served as the title villain of the third game. This is the creature that defines relentless terror, Nemesis. Out of all the creatures in the Resident Evil franchise, this is the one that scared the hell out of me when I was a little kid. Genetically engineered by the Umbrella Corporation, Nemesis was not only developed as just another mutant, but as a powerful and intelligent bioweapon capable of following orders.
What the f*** is that?
And, no joke, was built as a considerable replacement for all US Army personnel. Oh yeah, he is that strong. Umbrella's primary goal for Nemesis was to hunt down and kill the surviving members of a police task force unit called Special Tactics and Rescue Service, or STARS. So when this mutant super soldier set its sights on STARS member Jill Valentine, it was letting absolutely nothing stand in its way. Like William Birkin, Nemesis is a persistent monster who the player encounters multiple times throughout the game. However, he appears more frequently, he's a lot stronger, he's armed with a rocket launcher, and is much harder to fight off. And if his size, strength, and horrific appearance isn't scary enough, you are constantly kept on edge throughout the game, as he can sometimes show up out of nowhere and catch you completely off guard. So whenever you face Nemesis, it is crucial to have strong weapons and ammo, as you will be in for one hell of a fight.